After pressurizing the European Union, then the G7, now NATO member states, and alleging India of fueling the Russian war machine by purchasing oil from Moscow and an additional 25% tariff that was imposed thereof, both the US and India are now back on the negotiating table. India and the US resumed trade talks after a delegation led by US Trade Representative for South and Central Asia, Brendan Lynch, reached New Delhi for a day-long meet. Discussions on the challenges faced by Indian businesses due to additional tariffs was also on the agenda. This is the first time or the first meeting since Trump administration imposed the additional 25% tariffs on India, accusing it of being indifferent to the killings of Ukrainians and buying Russian oil and energy. Earlier, the trade delegation was expected to visit India between the 25th and 29th of August for the 6th round of BTA meet, that's the Bilateral Trade Agreement meeting, but it was rescheduled due to the additional tariffs which were imposed and took the entire tariff against India to about 50% now. The visit also ascertained what the next round of discussions between both the countries could look like. The meeting also comes after US President Donald Trump posted on his Truth Social that both the countries will address trade barriers and was looking forward to speaking to his very good friend, Prime Minister Modi. Now, we have Karishma Sudani with us, who has been tracking the developments on the Commerce Ministry front very, very closely. Karishma, important meeting. What are the big takeaways? All we hear is that the meeting was positive and cordial.
Well, Geeta, the biggest takeaway is something that you've highlighted, and I'll reinstate of the fact that soon there are going to be resumption of the negotiations. This is because Commerce Ministry officials have shared that the meeting was positive, optimistic from both the ends, which means that the deadlock, which has been quite for a while now, at least since the 5th round of negotiations that was held in July, is likely to be subsumed by the fact that 6th round of negotiations could soon take off. And I think the bigger thing to look forward is the fact that they want to escalate the closing of a bilateral trade agreement between both the countries. And Trade Minister Piyush Goyal also has been reiterating for a while that though there has been hindrances with the current negotiations, the BTA talks will continue to happen. And knowing the fact that they want to escalate it soon, I will not be surprised if they try to do it as close as end of October, because that was their original plan since the beginning.
Well, Karishma, in the meanwhile, we are looking at 50% tariffs. Was the difficulties that businessmen would be facing in the meanwhile before a conclusion of the BTA, was that discussed? Was that on the agenda?
Well, Geeta, it's going to be difficult for me to decode the agenda for you. The officials are still debriefing the department about it. But I must bring to you the trade data that was released yesterday, which significantly spoke about the export numbers just for the month of August. Though India did well in its overall exports, I would like to highlight that our exports to the US were reduced by close to $1 billion. In the month of July, we exported about $8 billion. In the month of August, we exported about close to $6.82 billion. So that's about close to a $1 billion downfall. And that's just because of the 25% tariff. The picture of September trade data will be clearer. And by numbers, it's very evident of the fact that our exports have been hit. Our manufacturers have suffered. But Commerce Ministry has been reiterating of the fact that they are diversifying to different markets. They've shortlisted 50 such markets. And in fact, we've been told that 100 products are being now ascertained, where India also takes in a lot of imports, and government wants to cut down these imports and rather push domestic industry to replace those imports with Atmanirbhar products in order to reduce the deficit.
Right. Before I let you go, very briefly, Karishma, is this restarting or the two sides coming back to the negotiating table, or is this just a feeler, so to say, that Brendan Lynch is here to see where the two sides are headed, really?
Geeta, until this morning, I would have answered this to you as more of a precursor and just to check as an air of negotiation to check if it's possible. But After speaking to my sources in the Commerce Ministry in the evening and also the official statement coming in from them, it looks like now the road goes forward towards negotiations and resumption of the 6th round of negotiation.
Well, that's big news, and that's very interesting. Karishma Asudani, who's been keeping track of every minute detail that comes out of that ministry and those meetings. Thank you so much for joining us here on the network.